Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. If you guys are new, my name is Liz, and for today's video, I'm gonna do some spring DIYs that I think turned out really cute. These are super quick and easy. Those are the kind of DIYs that I am shooting for lately because time is of the essence. I still wanna craft, but I've gotta do crafts that are quick. So if you like some easy and quick crafts, some beginner friendly DIYs, then let's go ahead and jump in. For this DIY, I'm gonna grab this Hello cutout. I believe it's like an MDF type material. This is actually from Target Dollar Spot, and I want to say it was probably about $3-ish, but I know that you can find similar items like this at the Dollar Tree if you want to look there. They typically always have a couple different kind of word cutouts similar to this. So what I'm going to do is take my Waverly chalk paint in white, and I'm going to paint the H and the two L's and the O with 2 coats of white chalk paint. And then for the E, I'm going to take my Dixie Belle chalk paint in Spanish moss, and I'm going to give that 1 good coat of paint. Now, once your paint is all dry, all you're going to do is take these rub-on transfers from the Dollar Tree. I thought these were so cute, and I loved the gold. I thought was going to look super perfect with this DIY. So at first, I started cutting out each individual piece one by one, rubbing it onto my word, and that was just taking forever. I almost wanted it to look a little bit more messy. So what I decided to do was just kind of cut it into 4 pieces and then just lay it on there. And whatever was touching the letter, I would rub on. And then what was ever left on the transfer, I would move on to the other letter. Hopefully that makes sense. You can kind of see what I'm doing here. But I would just take the entire thing, lay it down on a letter, rub it all on. I found using my finger worked best. I tried using a popsicle stick, and that honestly just didn't really work out. These ones were a little bit tougher to rub on than some of the other rub-on transfers that they have. But just make sure that you're going slow when you're peeling up, and if a piece doesn't transfer down, just rub over it a couple more times and then peel up and see if it sticks, and if it doesn't, just repeat that process. That's what I had to do for this. It took me a little bit longer, but I think the end result was so worth it because this turned out so pretty. The gold with the green, I just thought looks gorgeous. So this is all you have to do for this DIY. Really, really easy, and I'm loving the result. For this DIY, I'm going to take one of these tag Wi-Fi password signs that you can get from the Dollar Tree. So I always flip it on its back to use the back as the front. I found this Martha Stewart paint in Pacific Moss at the Dollar Tree. And from the bottle, I thought it looked really, really cute. And then when I started painting it on, well, I've got 3 babies, and it was kind of reminding me of, newborn baby, bowel movements. So I wasn't too thrilled with it, and it was really sheer. So I decided to just scratch that idea. I moved on to my Dixie Belle Spanish Moss chalk paint, and that looked way, way better than the Martha Stewart paint. So I just gave this 1 good coat of chalk paint. And after that was dry, I took a chip brush from the Dollar Tree, some Waverly chalk paint in white, and I just did a little bit of dry brushing all over my tag sign, just up and down motions. And once that was dry, to give it a little bit more distressing, I took some sandpaper, went around all the edges, and then went over the top just to rough it up even more. Now I'm going to take this Chalk Couture transfer. This is the March Club Couture transfer that if you're a Club Couture member, you will get in March. Look how stinking cute this is. It's farmhouse themed, which I'm just absolutely loving. And if you didn't know, if you sign up for Club Couture in February, you get 5 free transfers. So just a little tip, if you want to score some freebies, sign up in February. It's only $20 a month, and I personally think it's really great to try out, get your feet wet. You get a transfer, 3 single paste packets to go along with it, and I think it's great to just see if you like it or not. So I just cut off a couple pieces from that transfer, the Farm Fresh, and I used my bright white chalk paste to do that. And now with this, a lot of times I will wax my surface before I put my transfers down on my projects. It typically helps me out a lot with uneven surfaces, with my transfers. It just applies better. This time I didn't let my wax dry all the way. So when I peeled it up, it removed a lot of the wax and the chalk paste from my sign. But one of my subscribers mentioned in my last video that something similar happened because I let it sit for too long and the chalk paste dried to my transfer. When I peeled it up, it was kind of spotty like this, and she said that she almost preferred it that way. And I debated back and forth on if I should redo it and try chalking over it again, but I decided, you know what? I like this too. It gives it more of a rustic, worn kind of look to it, so I just went with it. So thank you to that subscriber who mentioned maybe leaving it next time, because I think it looks really great. Now I'm going to take some of this lavender that I got from the Dollar Tree. I took 3 pieces of it off of one pick, and I just bunched them together, took some twine and wrapped it around the top, and just wrapped and wrapped and wrapped until they were all nice and stuck together. I wanted that kind of almost like a upside down bouquet kind of look to it. So I just wrapped my twine around and hot glued the end down, and then added another piece of twine for the hanger at the top, and then hot glued my little bouquet to the top. And that's it for this DIY. I thought this turned out super, super cute. I love the touch of spring and the farmhouse, and I am loving it. For this DIY, I found this print at the Dollar Tree, and I just thought this was so pretty, and it screamed spring. I loved all the colors that it had on it. So all I'm going to do is remove it from the frame. So I'm going to take an 8x10 stretch canvas that you can get from the Dollar Tree, and the first thing that I'm going to do is remove that stretch canvas. Now to do this, I'm just going to take a really small flathead screwdriver. I go underneath all of the staples that are in the back, and then I take some pliers and remove each of the staples. This is definitely the longer way to do it. You can just cut the canvas away, but I feel like this makes it just a little bit nicer and a little bit more finished. So I'm going to remove that canvas from the frame. I also debated painting the frame, and I decided that I really liked that natural wood look to it, so I ended up just leaving the frame as is. I'm going to cut down that canvas to make it a smaller square. I'm going to take that picture and I'm going to use some super glue to attach the canvas to the back of the print. And I'm doing that just to give it a little bit more stability, so it's not just paper that's on the back of the frame. So once I've done that, I'm going to get my picture as centered as I possibly can on that frame, and then I'm going to use my staple gun to staple the canvas and the picture to the frame. I just did about 3 staples on each side, or a staple in each corner and then a staple on each side, and then I'm going to take my X-Acto knife and I'm just going to remove any excess canvas, any excess picture from all the sides so you can't see it from the front. And that's all you got to do for this DIY. Super easy, super fast, and I just think this is so cute. For this DIY, I'm going to take this planter that I got from the Target dollar spot for $5. Again, this is another DIY that is really simple. I'm taking something and just kind of sprucing it up a little bit and adding just, a couple little extra touches to it to make it even more beautiful than it already is. I'm going to take another one of the transfers from the March Club Couture that says Simply Blessed, and then I also took this little leaf transfer that is on there as well, and I'm going to use my chalk paste in Sage for this. So I just took the leaf transfer on one side, used my chalk paste, and then flipped it over and used it on the opposite side, so it had two leaves on the bottom of this side. So you're just going to apply your chalk paste, remove your transfer, make sure that you wash your transfer so that you can reuse it for later projects. And then I'm going to flip it onto the other side, take that Simply Blessed transfer, again using my paste in Sage, apply the paste and remove the transfer. And that's all you gotta do. Super, super simple. Now I wanted to add some florals to this. So what I'm going to do is take some floral foam. I just cut it down to size and I'm just going to hot glue that to the bottom of my planter. And then I'm going to take some lamb's ear that I got from Walmart. And then the lavender, I believe, also came from Walmart. And I just cut these down and just started sticking them in there wherever I thought, it was going to look nice. I cut the lavender down into a lot of small pieces, and I just placed it all in there, all randomly, until it was nice and full and you couldn't see the floral foam anymore. And that's all you gotta do. You have this really pretty spring planter, and it took me a total of maybe 10 minutes to make. For this DIY, I grabbed these shutters from the Target dollar spot several months ago. They were $3 each. I'm not so much doing a DIY on them, but DIYing something for them. So I'm going to take these mini wreaths that I got in a pack from Hobby Lobby. I'm going to take 2 of them, and I'm going to take a bunch of greenery that I got from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to cut these down into really small pieces. I'm going to make a couple wreaths to go on my shutters, and the nice thing about this is I can remove those wreaths and put different wreaths on them for different seasons. So I took that greenery and I'm going to start gluing those down, and then I also have these pink flowers. I honestly don't remember where they came from. They were just in my stash of florals. So I just took several of those and cut them right down just for the flowers, and I just hot glue all of my greenery around the wreath forms, and then I just add 3 flowers to each wreath onto my wreaths. And that's all you got to do for the wreaths. I'm going to repeat this process with the second wreath, and then I'm going to add my wreaths to the shutters just by using some of the Farmhouse ribbon from the Dollar Tree. I just measured out about how far I wanted the wreaths to hang down on the shutters. I glued the 2 sides of the ribbon together so that the wreath wouldn't fall off of it, and then I just strung it through the back hook so that if I wanted to hang these on a wall, I could. And I just hot glued the ribbon down to the back. Did that for the second shutter. And that's all you got to do for this DIY. Super quick, super easy, and I just think these are so adorable. that's it for today's video. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what your favorite project was in the comments down below. Also, don't forget to subscribe before you guys leave. Give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.